Well, 2010 has been a big year for espionage. The year began with Mossad assassinations undertaken by agents using faked Australian passports, and it's ended with all manner of spying revelations courtesy of WikiLeaks. And then, of course, there's been the media circus around the vivacious red-headed red spy Anna Chapman, who's now returned to Russia to convert her alleged espionage activities into a celebrity political career. It seems like spooks have been in the news more than ever, although I guess if previous years were bigger for espionage, we probably wouldn't know about it because it's supposed to be secret. Well, to discuss the year in espionage, I'm joined this morning by Dr. Joseph Fitzanakis. He's a specialist on the politics of international espionage, and he teaches terrorism and intelligence at King College in Bristol, Tennessee. He's also the editor of intelnews.org, a specialised blog that provides daily news and views on intelligence and espionage. And he joins me from his home, I hope not bugged, in Tennessee this morning. G'day, Joseph.
Good to see you. Hello.
Hello. All right, the year began with those assassinations by Mossad, a 30-member Mossad team assassinating the founder of the military wing of Hamas. That led to the expulsion of an Israeli diplomat from Australia. Was this killing significant in espionage terms, though?
It was in certain ways. For instance, it's interesting to see how large the team that killed Mahmoud al-Mabhouh was in Dubai. A 30-member team from Kidon, the assassination wing of the Israeli spy agency, the Mossad. We didn't realize there were so many people involved until the Dubai agency started researching into this and realized it was such a large operation. The assassination itself is not particularly shocking. Mabhouh himself had survived at least 2 prior assassination attempts in Syria, in Lebanon, where he used to live. And of course, the Israelis have a long history of assassinations going back to the 1940s. What makes this particular hit quite important is that it's the first known Israeli assassination of a Hamas official anywhere outside the Gaza Strip, that we haven't seen that before.
Okay, and I suppose the other thing that was noteworthy about it is that Mossad is renowned for its effectiveness in these operations, but it did seem that the speed with which the assassination was revealed suggested the operation had been a bit botched. Has Mossad's effectiveness decreased?
I think so. The Kidon, the assassination wing of Mossad, is not particularly large. And so for them to lose at least 16 to 20 agents in one operation, because these folks cannot work again in the field, they have to either retire or get office jobs somewhere, is a major hit. At the same time, it looks like they've been on this guy for a long, long time, several years to prepare this operation, and they must have struck at a moment's notice, which did not help their operation.
Right. Another massive PR disaster for Israel was the interception of the Gaza Freedom Flotilla. Now, that wasn't reported as an intelligence case, but your view is that it was actually an intelligence case from the start. Is that right?
Absolutely. The organization that organized the Freedom Flotilla, the IHH, a Turkish group, has an open membership policy, which obviously means that there were several Mossad agents that have become members of the organization in the months before the operation was organized. When the ships were getting ready to sail from various parts of the Mediterranean toward Gaza, there were 2 of them that were actually sabotaged before they even left the harbor. So that points obviously to some kind of sabotage there. But at the same time, the operation itself was conducted by an elite commando unit of the Israeli Navy in international waters. Let me remind you, we killed 9, injured about 100 activists from several countries, including 1 American. Several Americans were abducted by Israeli forces, taken to Israel, including a former diplomat. And several former Israeli Mossad officers spoke about this operation, which they actually condemned as, in one particular case, Victor Ostrovsky, a Mossad case officer in the 1980s, called it stupid, full of mistakes on every level. And of course, the blowback for Israel had been tremendous. It was condemned by the majority of the world. Let me just make one point that the organization that organizes the IHH, the Facebook website for the organization, had 18,000 members before the strike, and then the day after there was 150,000 of them. quite interesting.
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
Okay, if we can move now to Iran. Obviously, in November, 2 Iranian nuclear scientists were attacked and one was killed. But another thing which has caught my attention is the hacking efforts to sabotage Iran using the computer virus Stuxnet. Can you explain to us what's going on there?
Stuxnet made headlines a couple of months ago. It was an attempt by probably most likely a nation state to infiltrate the computers behind the Iranian nuclear energy program. We do believe that this virus that attacked mostly computers at the Bushehr and Natanz uranium enrichment plants in Iran was placed there by actual people. So in other words, this was not a virus that was communicated through the internet. It was somebody with a memory stick that went there, was paid by whoever conducted the operation to go there and actually infect the computers, which actually worked. This is not the only case that we know of sabotage attempt, computer sabotage attempts against the Iranian nuclear energy program. But it's the most famous, or I guess infamous one in this past year. The code itself is so complex and it's so new, so kind of novel, that points to almost certainly a nation state behind it. It's been called the first cyber weapon of the 21st century, so that should say something. Okay.
And just briefly, Russia obviously is a notorious centre of espionage and international espionage operations. What have been the big moments in espionage for Russia this year?
Well, the obvious case in point is the arrest of 11 Russian illegals in the United States by the FBI last June. These were deep cover agents not associated with any kind of diplomatic representation of the Russian Federation in the United States. These were run by the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service. It doesn't happen every day, an arrest of such a large network of spies. These were essentially have been living here for quite some time in the United States. They were then swapped with Moscow, the largest spy swap in history between those two countries since World War II. But it's not just that. We've had several cases of Russian espionage this past year, mostly in Eastern Europe, places like Poland, Georgia, Romania, the Czech Republic.
But unfortunately, Joseph Fitsinakis, we will have to leave it there. Thank you very much for filling us in on what's been a very busy year in espionage around the world.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that was Joseph Fitsinakis, the editor of intelnews.org, a specialised blog about espionage. Coming up after 8 o'clock, we'll move from undercover work to under the bed sheets. We'll be talking to Savage Love podcaster Dan Savage. That's all after the news on ABC Radio National. It's 8 o'clock.